Welcome to the channel. This is Reliable Rudy. Give me just a couple seconds while I get everything set up. Make sure the volume is good. Looks like we have volume. Oh wow, just kind of sitting back down here. I'm actually kind of getting a little bit of a pop. I should have got a 48 fill. Yeah, I should have got a 48 fill right there. But we are sitting in a trade on GSIT right now. Before I go into any analysis or any trading, you guys should know I'm not a licensed financial advisor. Just sharing my opinion in this analysis and trading. I believe short term is just a big voting machine, and long term trading is a weighing machine. I believe equity, uh, indexes, ETFs, commodities, you name it, crypto. I believe in the long run it will trade near its intrinsic value. How long it takes to get there, who knows? So let's go in. The title of this video states Soul Hound. Our GSIT is one of them, yep. And all we did, we seen off the open, we looked at this nice consolidation pattern. Here's your opening candle. It was able to kind of test some of these levels up here, but more so looking at the daily, we're just looking for some sort of continuation for a move over 8. If we're lucky, obviously we don't know if we're going to get that, but we did execute a reload on this name. Here's where we kind of took the fill. We had a 718 fill in the middle of this candle. Kind of just hovered around here. We had some outs up to 35, and we had an out at 40, and we reloaded off 725 in the middle of this candle. Actually, same thing. We rinsed and repeated 735, 740. As it was kind of hovering right here on this candle, we were on the ask at 745. This is when it wasn't able to break it. We just identified this potential descending channel. Whether that's set accurately, maybe it's supposed to be set like this. So we're just going to adjust this. If it can break through at this time, I'm going to feel pretty good about it. But we were a little worried that it was going to be a descending channel right here, so we didn't even have an order in for a reload just in case this wanted to roll over, especially with an intraday gap right here. The 720 actually could be an area that we have to revisit before we actually break this descending channel. But all in all, looking at the uptrend, we traded GSIT over here when we were looking for this as a bull flag extension, and it's just traded sideways. And it's traded sideways long enough that we're getting close to this initial uptrend. Nothing has changed with this chart. I try to keep everything the same. So it is rejecting 750 right now. I'm just gonna maybe stop a few shares right underneath the top of this wick, so call it like a 740. So I'm gonna go put a small stop in, and we will go from there. Just in case this wants to kind of go against us, we don't want to hold this back down here and risk it going against us back down under 7. So we are gonna go get that stop in right now. We're just gonna stop out of piece, nothing crazy. We're going to put that at 740. Alright, so moving forward. Not all of the names on here are names that we've gotten. But I felt that these were names that I was looking at for today. Now, Soul Hound, we weren't sure about this one off the rip, but we did have a dandy of an entry off of these previous highs right here. It was a 265, I believe, so not right off that previous high. But we liked the initial volume that came in off of these candles right here, and it was able to show us that hey, we initially had an alert on this name, Soul Hound. Right here, 265 triggered, so we triggered and we were just watching it. When it pulled back into this previous high, we said, hey, I think it's worth it. Even though that we have this descending kind of a wedge pattern right here. You can see the uptrend that we have marked right here. So this is kind of the uptrend that we're looking to play, and if we're lucky enough, we can get a break of this downtrend. Whether this downtrend trend is set perfectly or not, I'm just going to adjust it just in case this is an area. But it was even able to take out this high and actually a little bit of increased volume, so I like the way this is looking. I would expect these 270 to hold this support, and maybe if he needs to fall back into my original entry, we can think about hitting a reload on this name. But I think this one is still a little early to the ball game. If we go look at the daily, The daily chart, comparing it to GSIT, not nearly as effective. You can see the downtrend that we have potentially set right here, and you can see the uptrend that we have set. If we're lucky, we're going to respect up to this 280s. If it gives us a move into these 280s, why do I say respect it? Not just because of the EMAs right here, but just these previous low wicks right here kind of meeting in with that area. We want to make sure that we're getting a piece out in front of this, just in case this needs to kind of just trade sideways before we get a break higher. If we get the break higher, I'm all for it, don't get me wrong. We have an active alert on Unity. That is one of the other names that we're talking about here. Did I put that on there? We'll go through the active trades first. So we are sitting in an active trade on Lucid, and I am not expecting anything crazy with this. All we simply did was say, hey, we could have early build of an uptrend right here. And I'll show you on a 15-minute chart more so what I'm looking at. So you get the gap up, and on these wicks, you see how it's not able to get down to this 642 gap? We have 1, 2, third point of contact, the fourth point of contact right here, whether you call this one whole point of contact right at the end of the day, kind of showing us maybe an early look of an uptrend. So all I do, I got my entry and I got to stop at 638. If it shows us 638, I'm not going to have as much faith in this uptrend. So I'm going to be looking at it as, okay, we could have to have another leg to the downside. Could this support over here around 6 hold up? Yes, it could. But I believe this entry is just from a risk to reward point of view. I think it's possible that we can hold this uptrend and maybe start catching a bit to the north side, where I'd look at this as maybe some sort of neckline break. And I'd also look at this as a neckline break here. So we're talking about an early entry down here. And I would be looking for some sort of run up to this gap. Maybe the previous low, respect these lows, and probably even respect these flat bottom lows. So kind of just marking out what I'm looking for an extension from current price. 2%, 7%, 10%, 13%, 15%. And for the initial move, we're looking at a 20% move to the upside, and to the downside, we're looking at only risking 1.5%. So we're risking 1.5% for a potential move for a 20% trade. So I'm not even going to be looking at this name. We're going to go take a look back at GSIT just in case. And it's still kind of just sitting right here. So the more time it sits right here, the more I'm thinking that this is going to be a descending channel. Now these levels can hold, and we hold this sort of uptrend right here where you trade back in, and whether that uptrend is set perfect or not, maybe something like that, where you confirm a higher low from this area and then you turn up, and this top right here ends up being a potential neckline for a break to the upside. So that's kind of what we're looking with GSIT. Moving forward, FVRR, we never got a trade on this, but we did get alerted. We can go to the alert. Triggered at 27.75 is where we tried getting the trigger. So you can see right here on this candle, at the time we got triggered, it was just too fast that it got down there. Was I going to respect this uptrend? I wasn't sure at the time, so we never actually traded this one. And for all I know, this ends up rolling over and giving up this low, and I'll kind of disregard it for the time being, but I'll show you why I like this name. If you recall, we traded this on this gap day. We gapped up and we bought the gap and we bought it again, and we had a stop out underneath the candle. We never got stopped out, so we're still in a piece of this. All I'm looking with this name is we respected these highs right here. We respected 28 and 29 flat. So you can see we wick over 29 flat. We took off, I believe it was around 15% of the trade. So all I'm looking with this one is, one, you're sitting positive. It's a fresh positive break. Not much of an extension. But if this pulls back into like these previous tops right here, which is what it did, and this is where it kind of caught a bit. You can see the wick low is right there, but then I can also see the bodies of this candle. We are looking to reload this name and pick up the 16-20% that we trimmed up here and try to respect this position for a higher move to the upside. Looking from a more technical basis, I would say you probably have some sort of descending channel build right here, sort of like that. Let's just get that set nice like that. So more than likely my out, I don't want this trade to go against me to the red. So I'm going to be looking for probably outs underneath this 2650. More than likely right there. That keeps it a green trade. And also I can maybe potentially re-enter this if it wants to respect this descending channel. But why we liked it around this 26 is simply just these lows. We seen we were getting the gap up. It had the strength to close above that area, and it was already wicking into it multiple times. A little bit of a false break. It'd be nice to sit here and say, yeah, we got the 2550. No, no, because we're looking at this as saying, hey, let's see if we can get some further downside move to the lower 20s. But when it presents the opportunity, the gap up, all I did was respect the gap and said that, hey, there's potential here. So that's what we were looking at with FVRR. Soulhound, I can see that's coming back into this 720. Um, yeah, I don't think I'm going to reload it right here. I just want to see it hold support. A little bit of increased red volume right there. And for all I know, it needs to give that up before we see any higher move. I would probably want my out to be, if this is my entry around 65s, I'd want my out. And that's why I have this alert right here. I forgot to say that. If this were to have alerted me, I probably would just went and marketed it out. The trims that we got on this name, we'll look at that as, okay, we're getting out of this around where we entered, and we got some trims, so we're gonna respect the area and go from there. Let's go take a look back at GSIT because we don't want that to go too far against us. See, now that you can see, this is kind of what I was talking about, where even though we had our downtrend set originally like this, where I can make that parallel, but just because it breaks over your first one, sometimes you just have to make that minor adjustment and say, hey, this could still be a descending channel right here. Let's see if we can have any weight. So I'm actually going to put an alert like 725. If that alerts us, we got to be ready to potentially get out of this name. So we got the alert in. If that alerts us, we are going to go from there. Looking forward, the last name that we have is Unity. Unity was also one of the sticky notes. We can go over here and I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about on the sticky note. This was the lone sticky note name. I'm looking at this as a swing trade because I believe I don't have the early entry. One. Two, 30, or we'll go over the sticky note, 33 to 3250 is what I'm looking for an entry. It has plenty of strength. Support at 31. I'm looking for under 31 is my out. So I'm already telling myself I'm risking about $1.50 to $2 on this, and I could maybe think about averaging in as the trade kind of plays out. But I think it's a bull flag setup, and that's why it was the lone sticky note name of today. So let's go take a look at Unity, and you can already see right here on the GSIT, it's giving you this kind of frowny face. And you know the saying in investing, sell the frowny face, buy the smiley face. So if this frowny face can catch a bid, hold this uptrend, and start curling up, then it'll be kind of a smiley face look. So I think we're kind of in the middle ground right here in terms of, okay, which way is this trade gonna go? And looking at the Soulhound, kind of a little red engulfing through one of our first levels. That's okay. We're still going to hope for this 266 and this uptrend to hold as support. But I'm not really interested in holding this. I could give it my original out when I took the trade right here. I was saying underneath the bodies of this candle. Was what I was looking for an out, like a 258. So if now that we have a couple trims on this name, I could stay true to my original out here on the name. So let's go over Unity quick. We have alerts on both of our trades, and we will see it from there. So here's the opening candle of the day right here. We just wanted to see this price give up. We wanted to see this descending channel kind of play out to where the previous top right here is in the middle of that 33 to 3250. This is what we were looking for. But when the support held, we told ourselves, hey, we're not going to take this trade today. We're going to see if it can break this descending channel, whether it's set perfect or not, probably something like that. But let's go over to a daily and I'll show you kind of the bull flag that I'm looking at. Now when I set this descending channel, I set it from the daily because I want it to come down to these highs right here. You can see those same wick highs that we had right there is the same level as this wick high over here. So this is the area I kind of want to see it fall down to. And normally when I'm trading a bull flag, I'm looking at the next three candles, 1, 2, 3. But on this move to the upside, you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles with a nice green engulfing through this level. Uh, I'm looking at this as okay, it might take a few more days than 3 days with this green move to kind of build into the middle of this green move, which if I just take a fib tool from the top of the move to the bottom of the move, you see how that half meets up right where I'm looking to take this trade? So all in all, I really want to see this get rejected and come down to like this 33 level. So Unity is going to be on watch for me, but uh, it just doesn't look like it's going to give me that opportunity today. The market's a little bit green, and yeah, we'll see where that goes from there. Looking back this Soul Hound, you can see we're kind of wicking into this, so a little bit of buying pressure, so I do like seeing that. And GSIT, same scenario, a little bit of buying pressure. All I want to see is this to confirm, like 725 to 730. I want to see a hold, and we will go from there. We're not thinking about reloading. We already got a few outs, and we did get stopped out at that 740 stop for a few more shares on the position. So I believe we're sitting on like 60% of the trade right now. So we got some profits taken and we're good with that. Now that I have a little bit of time, that was everything that I wanted to go over. I'm going to go back over to a sticky note name that I should be keeping an eye on. It was the lone sticky note from yesterday. I'm going to pull this over. AYRFYA, solid support from 12 to 1225, above 1275 to 13, breakout question mark. Couldn't break out from that area, has strength, has growth, it has margins, it's profitable. Debt's a little bit high but manageable. And the only reason why I say debt's a little bit high is because their cash flow that the company brings in is a little bit inconsistent. So trying to forecast out how many years of cash flow it's going to take for them to cover the debt that they have, it's kind of tough to say. But all in all, I kind of like the chart setup. So we're going to go pull that up briefly. AFYA. And you can see a little bit of increased volume, but I don't see any consistency right here. I can see we have some sideways chop action right around this 13 level that we talked about as a potential breakout. If this just trades sideways and ends up taking out this high, I think that there could be something here. And even looking a little bit further to the left, that 1310, and here's your previous high, that 1330, where we could see a breakout. And you have the downtrend up here at 14. I would love to sit here and say that we got a piece off this uptrend, but this kind of just put it on radar. We like the earnings report. Like I said, profitable growth, nice. Whether you take analyst into consideration when you're looking at an earnings report or not, I'll leave that up to you guys. But we liked what we seen from the earnings report, and I'm kind of kicking myself for not testing it. You can see the uptrend on the daily just a little bit better here, and why we were looking at this as a potential breakout. A couple wicks into these levels, so the average person's probably sitting here saying to themselves, hey, this could be some sort of double top that's coming in. That's all the catalysts I need for a strong name, a nice earnings report, a solid uptrend, but you do have this downtrend. Whether this descending channel is set perfectly, it's probably not. All I did was kind of just put it up there. But I do like this downtrend that's at, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 points of contact. Could it be set more so like this? It's kind of tough to say, honestly. I like it the way that it was before, where you can see the catalyst for a potential breakout around this 13, and why I wanted it to pull back into that 12. Here's that 12, these previous wick tops right here. Now you can see on this day right here, you have direct correlation to the top end at that 12, but that 1250 comes in at the top of these candles as well. So this is why we said 1250 to 12 is where we're really looking to enter, and we get an open price right around that 1260. I wanted to see this pull back in the 1250. We just never got it. So sometimes that's part of trading. You're not going to get what you want, especially in the short term. because it's so tough to kind of decipher. So that's everything that I kind of wanted to go over. We're going to go back and look at these trades. We're going to look at Soul Hound and keep this one on watch. We can see that, you know, still holding this candle, 5 minutes left on this candle. Can we get a confirmed break of this downtrend that we've been in and get a further move? This is where we're looking to get some trims, 277 and 282. Kind of just respecting these tops. You can see these previous lows is what we're rejecting right now. You reject it here, you retrace down, hold the trend line. You reject it again. Can we break it, or is this going to continue following this wedge pattern? That's what I want to find out. But if we're able to get through higher, you know, this meets in kind of at the tops, and this is your lows. You can see support, support, support. You break support, and now you resist it. So we're going to respect those couple levels right there. And now that I'm looking at it on a 15-minute chart, I'd probably say even like 286 could be respected as well. Going back over the GSIT, oh wow. Yeah, kind of getting a little bit more of a confirmed break through this. You know, there's only so many times that you can adjust the chart that you have set forth. And I'm reading the text. So we are going to adjust this just one last time. We're going to put this as a potential descending channel, sort of like that. Let's lower that a little bit. And we're going to go from there. We're going to see if this wants to break out. I like it holding above this 750. If it can do that, I think these previous wick tops, you see how we wick, a little bit of a false break right there. But I'm just going to mark through that. So 745 is what we want to see hold. And now 755. So the tape is coming in. You have a little bit of increased volume, not as much as I want to see. I want to see what the volume looks like when we break over like 775. Which also, if I pull 775 over a little bit further, you can see that's actually a potential breakout zone where we were talking about it on the daily, as in, can this go set a new high and push up to, you know, let's start with 8, but if we get lucky enough, we can maybe get 9, maybe even 10. If we switch this over to, let's do a monthly, you can see where that 8, the 9 resistance all the ways through this. We're going to want to definitely respect that level, but then the all-time high price is that last breakout. So if we're lucky enough, we can get this move all the ways through that. So we want to try and hold a piece for the dream, and then we're going to go from there. So that's everything I kind of wanted to talk about right there, guys. We're going to do a little bit of live trading for you guys today, and if you guys got any questions or anything that you want to state in the chat, you know, I'm more than willing to go over any tickers that you guys are looking at. Maybe not the most fast moving names. We can go briefly look at some of the top gainers. You can see, is this going to be some sort of ascending channel right there? So maybe some potential right here on this name. If this cracks lower, we're going to be thinking previous highs, which is a wick high and the gap fill all day. So we want to get an idea of where this name wants to go. And we were looking at this name. We got an early descending channel look on this name. Anytime I see the price take out the wick lows, I'm instantly thinking to myself, hey, could this be a descending channel? If not, do we break this descending channel somewhere later in the day where it presents me some sort of entry? So let's say we catch a pop. I'd want to mark this previous low. So let's say we reject this in like the next 2 candles over here at like 11 to 11:15, and then we trade down and we hold these lows, and then we break over top of that 11:15 and over top of this channel. That is where I'd be interested in taking the trade on this. But until I can see it show me which direction it wants to go, that's what I'm going to be looking for. We talked about MGRX. Just gonna need to see if this channel wants to hold and present me some sort of entry. Whew, a little short-winded. Oil, you can see oil giving up the ghost a little bit. We had this as some sort of channel we talked about that it was respecting. Well, now it's giving it up. Do we need to come back up to the upper 60s before we get any? Oh man, this looks like a mess. Holy Oh, let's just clear that out. This is all you really need to see. You have 1, 2, 3 points of contact. Your breakout price, as we've talked about many times, we'll start with 75, and then we'll start with 84. If it can get over 84, I think we can see this get up to the top end and maybe just trade in a channel. But you do have strength. You are trying to hold these 70s for now. This was probably some sort of uptrend that's breaking right now. You can see the red engulfing through it. That's the short-term uptrend, medium-term uptrend. Is there a longer-term uptrend that we can see building right here? Maybe. So looking for these upper 60s as support potentially. And that's kind of how I would say have your chart set up for oil. So when it's sitting in a middle ground like this, I'm looking for one way or the other. Is it going to break higher? Are we going to hold? Are we going to crack lower? So that's what we're looking at with oil, just sitting in a middle ground. So we're not going to do anything with that. Soul Hound, we can go back and take a look at this name. You can see already leaving just a little wick into that downtrend right there. Is this going to be a double top look? So got to keep an eye on that. We're going to move this alert up to like underneath of this wick. And GSIT, respecting that channel. So this gives me a little bit more comfort that, okay, are we going to respect this descending channel or not? So if I wanted to, and now we have the open of the next candle. So let's watch this live right here. If I wanted to, I could adjust this. And now that I can see we have points of contact all the ways up, is it going to hold this uptrend? So we can put a sort of an alert. We can move this alert up to like 730 and see if that wants to hold from there. Other than that, there's nothing really that I seen at the beginning that really struck my interest. SMTC, this was a sticky note name back at the 850 gap. I'll go to a daily chart to show you guys. We were preaching this off this 850 gap right here. It was a sneaky one. You see how that wick just barely doesn't fill that right off of an 850 level. We flip it back over. We're following this 1850. We're following this 1850. Look at this price action. We just set a nice little higher low off of that. And look at the follow through. It gaps up right to a downtrend that we had set. Whether this downtrend is set perfectly or not, it's been a little bit of time since I've looked at this. It'd probably be more so set like this, where I haven't looked at the earnings report, so I can't really tell you anything about this. But yeah, I had a really nice move to the upside. If you just respected the 1850 gap, that was a 46% move to the upside, and I think that it could potentially even have higher upside. So just looking back at the 1850 gap, man, 73% potential move to that gap. Wow. Yeah, kind of sucks. I wish I was sitting here telling you that I respected the 1850 gap, but I'd be a hypocrite. I am a hypocrite for saying had you respected it because I didn't even buy it. So, had I just respected the positive break, there's your positive break, there's your consolidation, kind of a bull flag pattern. You break higher, you hold the previous highs, and now you get rewarded. So it kind of sucks to sit here and say that I didn't even respect my own sticky note. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I was perfect on that because I'm not. Nobody's a perfect trader. We said we were going to watch this GSIT candle. I'm sure my charting is probably a little confusing to you guys, so I hope it's not. I hope everything that I have drawn up here for you guys makes sense. If it doesn't, feel free to leave anything in the comments. We did have another order go through. If you remember a few weeks back, maybe even a month at this point, maybe even a month at this point. We were talking about DAL and some of these airlines, how they were setting up. And nothing's changed on the chart. Nothing's changed on the chart. All we did was respect some levels. We respected these lows. We respected the gap. We respected it this yesterday at 28.25, and we respected this. We weren't sure if this was going to be anything. As we were sitting right at this downtrend, you can see the downtrend. Boom, 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 boom. Now, what do you think we're going to do when this is trading up at 40? Yeah, you bet your ass we're going to respect this resistance up here near 40. But the more it trades above this downtrend, the more I'm going to think, hey, we could be following this ascending channel. Where we were talking about this off the trend line, and we were talking about this all through this little area right here. And it's very satisfying to look back and say, look at this entry and the potential that this has and how it's kind of playing out. It's just self-satisfying. Looking at Soulhound, not getting really much movement, but we're kind of just holding the entry. We're trying to hold this level. If we can just show some strength through this, I'll feel really good about it. GSIT, you can kind of see it kind of playing out. Holding above these wicks that we have marked for the time being. You know, I can probably move this down to like right there. But this is everything we're looking at right here, guys. You know, I could briefly look over at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ looks like it's up 1%. We talked about this yesterday. Straight down to the downside. I had people asking me. This is what I said on the live stream yesterday. I had people asking me, "Hey, what's wrong with the market?" And I just told them, "What? You don't think the market can go down after it's done this? Look at this move. You don't think one day is reasonable for some sort of profit taking?" The thesis just doesn't change. I fully expect it to get to this gap, and if we mark top of the move, bottom of the move, we were looking for this 702. We're looking for the 702. I am fully anticipating that the market is going to get to this. My thesis has not changed since last August. You can go find the videos. They are there. Last August, when we're sitting down here at this price, we're saying, hey, we see a nice 5-wave structure. If this is just a wave 1, I'm looking for some sort of retracement up to the 702. Where you have a trend line that's coming in right through here. I'm not going to scroll back and find it, but you have a trend line. Can we bounce from here? Do you have a downtrend that's being built from this point where you just test up to the downtrend? And then it's possible that this double top that you would end up leaving right here could be a catalyst for a further breakdown. Does this hold this support line? I'd expect some sort of little pop like that, but then you could actually see a further move down. See how this is a 5-wave structure like that? This could all just be one single wave to the downside. You retest this previous lows, and this big long consolidation could turn into a 5-wave structure to the downside, meeting in near support. You guys see how this draws up to these previous tops near the COVID lows. I'm not counting it out until it shows me something different. If that is confusing to you, I apologize. We talk about it every single live stream. Every single one. I mention that. So I'm not counting it out until it happens. If it shows me that it can show strength, maybe we sell off. We hold some support at these previous tops right here. And then we get the further move. So I'm looking for fill that gap. Do we sell off? Hold this some sort of uptrend that's rolling through here and get a further move to the upside? Yeah, we very well could. We very well could. But we talk about this every single live stream, guys. Every single one. Till I see some confirmation that it's going to be one way or the other, I'm not counting it out. So looking back over the GSIT, I can see it's back over this 750 range. All we're doing is just kind of nursing this position. We have some trims, and we're looking for a breakout. This wick holds above this candle right here. Is it going to follow this descending channel? I think we'll have our answer here in a couple candles. I will say I don't like the light volume right here. but that doesn't mean that the price can't get up here and we see volume increasing. So that's kind of what we're looking for. Looking back to Soul Hound is our Sound Hound. I keep calling it Soul Hound. Sound Hound. Uh, it is still kind of trading inside of this wedge pattern, which is scaring me a little bit. We have an alert in case we need to think about exiting this position. But you know what I preach, guys. Get the entry, trim the levels, hold a piece for the dream. We have our dream levels marked out. If we can get even higher than that, I'm all for it. But one thing that I do like, even if it does give up this price, you have a very solid uptrend that is holding right here. And this is what we're looking to try and play our position according with this uptrend. So that's kind of what we're looking for with that. What else was I can see this AFYA is kind of, man, I'm gonna be kicking myself. This is gonna be one of those like, man, you could just looking back, man, why didn't I try this uptrend? We like the earnings report. It holds the uptrend. It gives you all sorts of opportunity to get an entry on this. Let's just look at the daily. All types of opportunity. You get a nice move, nice bull flag consolidation. Now we're taking out the highs. Man, it sucks looking back saying to ourselves that we don't have an entry on this. It really does. But I should take a look at FVRR. This is one of the other names. And this is kind of why we just wanted to see this play out a little bit. We can think about reloading off these wicks, but if we're lucky enough to get the bodies of the candle, I'm all for it. So we want to let's re-put an alert back in for like 775. That's where our first alert was on this name, and we're gonna keep that alert in right there, and go take a look back at. And it looks like, oh come on, my chart. What is this? There we go. GSIT's kind of giving us a little bit of a pop. So now, this is the third time that I've adjusted this downtrend. Do I dare adjust it a fourth time? Do I dare adjust it one last time like this? And you can see we're kind of wicking into it. This is the last time. You guys have my word on it. This is the last time I'm adjusting this downtrend. If we can break through this, I'm fully confident that, we could just leave a wick and then it actually brings the candle back inside of this. So we just want to see the candle close above this channel. If we can get a close above this channel, I'm going to feel really good about this. But now that we're up here, we haven't had a trim over 750. We're going to go over and take a piece off of this. Even though it's not the very top, we're going to go take a piece off of this name. Because, I mean, you can't complain with a 718 entry and not take a piece off for a 5% move. That to me, I think is worthy of a trim. So we're going to go over here and we're going to take a piece off of this. Even though we have a catalyst that we think the price is going to move higher, we're going to respect these levels and we're going to go from there. So let's take a piece off. We're just going to market it. Even though the ask or the bid was at 53s, we probably got a 53 fill right there. We got a 755. I'm completely okay with the 755. That's my best print on the name so far. And let's see if we can get some higher movement to the upside. Looking back to Sound Hound, this one just looks like we should probably take a piece off of it because it's not getting any movement, and I think we are going to go ahead and take a piece off. Nothing crazy, just a small trim. We've had a few trims on the name already. Let's just respect that sitting right here, a potential double top right at our downtrend. Let's take a piece off, and maybe we can think about reloading if we come back in to this previous tops, maybe even if it wants to come down lower. And GSIT, still sitting here. We got a minute left on this candle. I'm going to open up the bid and ask and see if we can get... There's 759. We have a minute left on this candle. And look at that. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that volume spike from right here to right here? I didn't see anything go through on the tape over here. We do have some size. We have, oh, it just took out 110 lots off 760. I'm feeling very good about that. We have 40 seconds left. As long as this doesn't wick down. Look at just in the last 30 seconds we've been looking at this. The volume has went from underneath of this candle at 7K to now sitting at 20K. This is what we're talking about. Once we get near this, even though the volume is light, we're looking for that volume as we are approaching these highs to pick up. And that is what we are starting to see early signs of it right now. I'm going to go ahead and just in case this wants to go back underneath of this channel, I'm going to put a small stop trim, just a trim, underneath 755. If this gets back inside this channel, we want to make sure, you know, I can even play it safe. Let's go 748. We're going to put that small trim in right there at 748, and we're going to go from there. Oh boy, this one looks good. Look at this volume. Now we're over 20K. Let's see if we can get a nice little pop on this one. Man, this looks really good. This looks really good for a potential break. Where we're probably going to want to respect 775s. But nice early look at that volume increasing. That is what we want to see. That is what we want to see, fellas. Oh, Drift R is in the chat. How's it going, Drift? I don't know how long you've been there. I'm pretty bad at looking at the chat, especially when I don't have it doesn't even show me that anyone's watching right now, so maybe you tuned out. Oh, you're still here. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We're sitting here. We like the early look on GSIT as it was respecting this uptrend. We traded this kind of bull flag setup over here. We had outs, and I think we got stopped out of this on that 690 break to the downside. Even though we knew this uptrend was right here, we got some nice solid sideways consolidation. Since Monday, there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday, kind of just traded all the ways over to the original uptrend we had set. And we didn't want to make sure we didn't have a piece of this in case this wants to break higher. We can look over at the daily and you can see more so what I'm talking about. See how we're building just this nice little U shape. The lows of this, all it did was retest these previous highs. So we like how it was holding that. And we're actually looking for a further extension up to this 9 level. And the all-time high on this name is 1025, give or take. So that's what we're looking for on this name. We want to hold a piece for the dream. Get the entry, hold a piece for the dream. You just came in about 5 minutes ago. Yeah, sorry if any of that is confusing. But now we do have this candle close through this. Even if this trades back in this channel, I'm expecting these previous highs to hold support. So I'm actually going to go take that stop loss out at 748. I think if I stop shares out right there, I'm just stopping shares out at support. So I don't want to stop shares out at support. We're going to cancel that stop. We've seen what we need to see. And let's see if we can get a breakout on this name. Sound Hound, still kind of leaving this double top look. Can it break this downtrend? I want to see the volume really start picking up on a 775 break, which is these previous lows over here. You gap up, you reject it here. If somebody is shorting off of this area right here, we want that guy to start getting worried. We can go over a couple other names. We talked about this as a potential downtrend. And we have this previous low to get through, and we have the downtrend. So you can see we're kind of wicking towards that area. Does this kind of build a frowny face, and we have to come down to the bottom end of this channel? I'm not really liking what I'm seeing here on BAOS, but that doesn't mean that it can't shoot through this previous low and catch a bid. So we are going to be ready for that one. This MG RX, we said we want to see if this is actually true to this channel. Can it hold this support right here? I'd say this is the last I can do for this channel right there. Anything lower, I'm fully anticipating this to retest this previous high or the gap fill. So just because it retests the previous high and starts wicking into it, then you're going to have this descending channel look that I'm not going to be interested in playing around with until I get some more information on it. GSIT still sitting around this 762. I really like how that volume really came in at the last minute there. So I'm very interested in seeing this one play out. and we got about 65% of the position left. So it'd be nice to sit back and say, hey, why didn't we reload it right here? Because this could have easily turned into a frowny face and gave up these levels where before we had a downtrend set more descending. Uh, the more I'm looking at this, the more it's probably not even a downtrend. Where if it's not a downtrend, even though it's given up it a little bit right there, I think it's possible that this could be some sort of ascending channel right there, where that's why we're going to respect the top end of the 775. And if it wants to get up to like a 8 level, I think that will be the top end of the channel. So we're not giving up on this just yet. We could actually think about adding some size. We had the increasing volume. Now this would be averaging up, and a lot of times averaging up can get you hurt. I do think that it's possible that this will hold as support, and we can get a further move up to this 8 level. So a couple different things that we can look at there. We haven't got alerted on anything, so that's a good sign. This AFYA, man, that's kind of hard for me to say. Still catching a little bit of a bid. It's a slow churner above 13, but man, that setup was there. I'm gonna be kicking myself for not taking that entry. Soulhound kind of wicking into that 75 area. If it might need to trade back down a little bit, where this could be some sort of descending channel build right here. But I do like this little uptrend that it's got going for it. It's got a secondary uptrend. It's got an uptrend, a secondary uptrend, and another uptrend. So a lot of different support levels that this can fall through. Can it break through this wedge? That's all we want to see. A lot of people would look at this setup as, oh, we're getting ready to double top. It very well could be. We could blast through this uptrend, and it's a double top. But I gotta see it to believe it still. So I'm not going to think this is a double top until I see some sort of red engulfing to the downside. I like the setup that this has. You probably didn't catch the beginning of the live stream, but you can see a few other names on there. Lucid, voice crack. Lucid is a trade. Now this is not one that I would recommend to somebody or just anybody. We're staying true to a stop right here. We have some entries in up here, so it's against us a little bit. We thought, hey, this could be some sort of uptrend build right here, and maybe I need to pull it down a little bit like that. But now we have filled this gap, and we're already rejecting this previous low. This one is probably going to go against us. So this one is going to be a losing trade for us probably. But I still think it has some hope to maybe catch a bid if this is some sort of uptrend build. We're going to stay true to a 638 stop. So I think the risk reward here is pretty decent, but we've already identified that, hey, this is a weak name. This kind of dates back to when I was talking about I use strength and weakness as sort of the house at the casino. The house isn't always going to be correct, but majority of the time in my eyes, I think that the house wins. This is going to probably be one of those scenarios where the house is going to win. We're going to see some red engulfing. Can it hold these lows down here around 6? Maybe. We're not sure. Looking at GSIT, let's go. Oh boy, we're up at 770. 770. So let's go on the ask. We want to make sure we get a piece off. Let's go 774. Let's go 774. And it looks like we are going to get this fill. That's all that's there on the tape is 774s. And 7074. Not 70, 74. 774, we just got to fill, and I'm feeling very good about this setup. And let's see if we can get some further moves to the upside. We respected 774s. I'm not going to see any reason to cut more than I just did. And we're going to see if we can get some further moves to the upside. Let's think about in front of 8. So the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm thinking, hey, we got an ascending channel here. Let's respect it. And we can think about later, at a later date, we can think about reloads actually at a higher price off of this previous high. We have 5 minutes left in this candle. Let's see if this volume can actually exceed the previous candle. I'd be feeling really good about this trade if it did. And here we are catching a bid through it. Yes, sir. Rejecting 780 a little bit. That is completely fine. We know that we have a little bit of resistance over here that's going to need to fight through. Let's see if we can get further movement to the upside. Even though it's wicking through that, we already respected 774. We are feeling really good about this one. We want the volume. We want people to sell. We want people to short it right here. Go ahead, shorts. Get on in there. Look at that resistance. How can you pass it up? Come on, shorts. Get on in there. Bring it on down. You know what I'm saying, Drift? Clockwork. It's all part of the plan. Let them get in so we can trade down and the longs trap them. That is what we're looking for. Soulhound. Now I talked about this. Let's go. Let's compare the two. We talked about this. I didn't look at this as a double top, but because there's no levels here. It's a flat top. At the flat top, as soon as you break through that flat top, you're feeling really good about it. Now let's look over at Soulhound. This is what I think a double top looks like. You have an uptrend. You have a catalyst for red engulfing through this. You have a catalyst of a downtrend where this actually could be a double top. You see how there are different setups? Completely two different things. Even though they're both trading near the same things. Yes, to an average eye, I say average eye because a lot of people misinterpret what a double top. For it to be a double top, you need a catalyst for it to be a double top. Where is the catalyst? You have previous lows. You're already rejecting it here. You reject it here. You have a downtrend. And you actually have the top to be a double top. So two completely different setups that we're looking at right there. Now let's go back to GSIT because we want to make sure we get a piece off in front of this 8 level. Beautiful extension. This is exactly what we're looking for. So let's just go take off a little bit market right here. And let's see, a little bit spready. So I actually am going to use a limit order. Let's go 796 and see if that gives us a fill. 796, we got 2 lots on 97. Or 2 lots on 95s, I meant. Let's see if this can give us a fill here. And this is what... It's like I'm calling it out before it happens, Drift. What was I saying about this volume candle? I want to see this candle exceed this candle. And there we got our fill. 796. That's what we're talking about. We're going to hold a piece for the dream. Let's go on the bid or the ask. See, now we're at the top end of this channel. A lot of volume. A lot of people are getting in right here. When we're in down here, we want to sell them the shares. We want to give the people trying to get long the shares. We want to give it to them. Let them. Even though, let's get a piece off quickly. Yes, sir. Come on. Oh, I don't want to use a market. Why is it so spready? Oh, man, that might be a wick top right there. Let's go 07s. 507, we're on the tape. Almost $1 in the money per share. And like I was saying, Soulhound, you can see it. We're going to go get another piece off of Soulhound because our sound, why do I keep calling it Soulhound? It's Soundhound. Let's go get a piece off. Let's take a little bit more size than what we normally take. And that'll give us a little bit more comfort to reload it if the opportunity is there. This is where the real action is. We don't want to watch Soundhound. We want to watch GSIT. Does it look like longs are getting in right there? right here it's an early look, but now we're getting some true confirmation that we could be getting some longs in here. Let's see if we can get a further move to the upside. I appreciate it. Clap it up, Drift. But the trade isn't over. You don't want to celebrate too much until your trade is over. If we can get further upside, like I said, I do think it's possible that we can get a 9 here. If this wanted to blast through this potential ascending channel right here, it might need to trade down first. So we don't have an out over 8, but now we got the open of this next candle. Let's see if we really want to get bullish here. If we can blast through this uptrend or downtrend, no, ascending channel, my bad. We could maybe think about having some further upside. And there's an 807 fill. We're gonna go refill our coffee. I will be right back. I'm sorry if my mic is on. Was it on? No, it was not. Thank the Lord. Okay, we are back. Mic looks good. It was laugh out loud. My bad. I don't remember what you're referring to or what I said. I do not think this is over. We're feeling really good about this. We're gonna try and get an entry back in this around 760 to 775. Even though we trimmed some there, we gotta get some back on this. Now that we can see it's following this, we're gonna respect these levels as they play in. And one thing that I'm gonna like about this, you see how we have 1, 2, 3 nice green engulfing candles with increased volume. Now that I can see this is, we got 12 minutes left, so by all means, this candle could still turn green and go to the upside. Because you can see the wick, you can see the buyers coming in the middle of this green candle. If this candle does turn red, I'm going to be focused on the next 3 candles. 1, 2, 3. Down into these levels, previous resistance. Now I'm looking for it to be support. You can see where we got the support. Boom, nice action off of this. So if we pull back into here, I'm going to be looking to get more size on this. Even though I have trims low at a lower price down here, we have trims in these areas here. We want to make sure we have a piece of the pie for the bigger move. I already stated that I think this has the potential to go to 10. If we're talking about it down here at 770, you know, I may be kicking myself in the foot for trimming as aggressive as I did. So this is just candle number 1. Candle number 1. Now if we get full red engulfing through this, that's going to suck. We're going to stop out. The goal is to take enough profit so that you're okay holding it for the dream. If you got to get out, you try to get that out above where your entry is. My original entry is 718. We got plenty of cushion, plenty of built-in support that we can work off of. But now that we've seen this, let's go take a look back at Soulhound. Oops, I didn't mean to move that. Oh, what's going on? Okay, yeah, we're still good. So it's trying to hold this right here. Is this going to be a catalyst for a further breakout? I just don't know yet. I really don't know yet. I'm going to need to see a little bit more there. I haven't got alerted on anything else. Let's take a look at FVRR. So now that, this is actually probably going to alert me. This looks like a frowny face, where we could be getting some price action down into some more of these levels. And looking at it from this perspective, you can see kind of an uptrend trying to build right here. I'm actually going to move this alert to the top end. If it takes out 28s, we can think about it. But that alert also comes in at a previous low. Hey, you know what? I'm actually going to stay true to it. If that triggers us right there, we're going to put that a little bit more on watch. Let's go back over the GSIT. 9 minutes left in this candle. All I want to see, so on top of the pullback, I said I'm focused on the next 3 candles, 1, 2, 3. I want to see the volume decrease on the way down. If it can show me that decreased volume, that's going to give me a little bit more conviction that I like this. Let's take a look at Unity. God, we want to see this freaking give up this area. If it can trade back down to like 35, it's going to be a nice looking frowny face. Maybe that'll be a catalyst for a price further to the downside. That's what we're looking for there. What was the other name that we were taking a look at? Oh, it was? Oh, you're talking about the mic? Man, I'm sorry. I got this new headset, so sometimes I uh, am not sure if it's muted. Let me make sure my sound is actually off now, or on now. Okay, it's on now. Thank the Lord. Would have felt like an idiot. I do apologize. I didn't mean to be coughing in your ear. We're flirting with it. We are flirting with it right there. So even though we took a little bit more of a piece off at the bottom of this candle, we really just wanted to make sure, when you're talking about a 265, 6 pennies in the money isn't really too much to brag about. But at the end of the day, taking profit, making sure that you feel comfortable holding it for the bigger picture. The bigger picture here is if we can get through this 275, I want to feel comfortable holding this for a potential move, maybe up even higher, where I'm looking for, my next move, 1.5%, 3, 5. If I can go higher than that, I'm all for it. Sign me up. Let's go back to GSIT. So now you can see, this is kind of what I want to see. I want to see the buying wick come in right there. I want to see the buyers. You can show me the buyers. And what is the top of this candle? The top of this candle is 807. I didn't actually make sure I got a print there. Let's go make sure we got the fill there. We could be thinking that we got a fill when we really didn't. Yep, we got the 807 fill. So literally got the wick top print there. I mean, can you draw it up any better than that? That is what I'm talking about. Ooh, we were starting to squeak a little bit higher. Just a wee bit higher. Show me you can get through that downtrend. We got 6 minutes left on the candle. Let's go peek back at some of these bigger movers. It's clockwork. drift, it's clockwork. We identify the previous low and the downtrend. I stated over in both of these candles. All this needs to do is show me that it's going to wick and reject this level, and for all you know, you're going to break these lows and go lower. It doesn't mean that from this current price it can't shoot up, but it's going to have to show me it can get through this previous low, so it's not a descending channel. Yes, it's the biggest gainer of the day. I understand. Yes, there's probably some sort of catalyst. I have no clue what the catalyst is. Do I need to know what the catalyst of this name is to be able to identify this is going to be resistance? All I did, as soon as it took out this low on this candle, I marked it. I left it there. Did I need something to tell me that 1110 was going to be resistance? No, I didn't need anything. I didn't need to know anything. That's why short-term trading, if more, so we're sitting at 10, we'll call it 1070. If more people buy at 1070 than people sell at 1070, the price is going to go up to the next spot on the book. If more people buy than sell on that price at the book, the price is going to keep going higher. If more people sell than buy at 1110, the price is going to go down. You don't need to know a catalyst just because something is extremely high in volume. Let's look at GSIT. GSIT only has, before we had this move up in GSIT, the volume was probably right around 1 million. Let's go look at SOUN. The volume, yeah, there's some volume that's getting in right here, but it's not the highest mover on the day. It's not the volume that is putting the eyes on this. It's the setup. If more people buy than sell at a given price, the price is going to go up. It's simple as that. As simple as that. Mm-hmm. 3 minutes left. Nice decrease on the volume. That is what I want to see. The move up to exceed the volume of the move down. People are trying to get into this name. You see why I like marking channels to the upside and the downside. All I did is I said, hey, we have a. All I did on this top one was I made it parallel with the one on the bottom end. All I did, wick, right into it. All I did. More people want to buy than sell, price will go up. Simple as that. Now I can see BAOS is trying to catch a bid, but all it would take is a little curl down, and who knows, maybe it can hold 10, and then this ends up being a breakout price over top of this, so call it over like a 1090. This could catch a bid, but I'm going to need a little bit more information. More so on the ascending channel to the upside. You see how we go from a catalyst of, hey, we could have a potential downtrend like this, to, okay, now we got the close above that. I've already adjusted this downtrend from here to here to here. And now we're getting a close above it. I could have set another close. I could have adjusted it in the middle of that candle like that, and we still close above it. And we put a green engulfing candle. That is the highest volume candle on the day. And now that I'm actually looking at it, the volume on this candle exceeds the original move. You can't draw up a bull flag continuation any better than this type of setup. So we go from a potential downtrend to now we have an ascending channel. And the candle, we still have a minute left. This candle is going to close green. So if this wanted to blast through 815, 820, You know, for all I know, the move isn't over and then the bull flag comes at a later date. It's possible. This is why I always wait for the candle close. 807, 808. So yeah, buyers getting in the middle of this candle would have been a good buy. But those guys got to worry about taking profit right here. This is still going to be resistance. We're flirting with the high price. We're at 810, 813. Let's go on the ask at 820. It's going to wick. We have 15 seconds left. This could be the wick top for the time being. Let's go get something out there off 820. $8.20. That's over $1 a share. And let's see if we can get a fill. Come on, baby, give me that 8.20 fill. Give me an 8.20. Now that I can see that candle close right there, all I did was adjust this so that it's a little bit more on the bottom side and adjusted the top end. That's all I did there. And we're looking for an 8.20 fill. 8.18. Are we going to get an 8.20 fill? No fill yet. We have 14 lots off 8.20. And there we got a fill. I don't know how many times I can adjust this ascending channel. We might go try for a breakout here. 8.20, I feel that was respectable. Over $1 a share. From the 18, 14%, you cannot complain with that. If this wants to go higher, we're all for it. We are all for it. Oh wow, Soul Hound, look at that. How about that? Nice green candle coming in right there. Man, we're rocking the show today. Let's go get a piece off of Soul Hound. It's putting a wick into a level we have drawn. Previous low over here. Let's go take a piece off. If it wants to go higher, we're all for it. We're just gonna market some out right there. It's not really that spready on this name, but we got a piece taken off there, and let's see if we can get further movement to the upside. Let's go on the ask. We are not gonna pass up a looking candle like that yet. Let's get another piece off. We're just gonna mark it, and it's not really spready on this name. Got another piece off there. We can go towards the wick top right there, so let's go 280. Man, this previous low, a lot of resistance built in right there. If I was looking at it from this perspective, 83. So we got a couple pieces off on that move right there. This could be the wick top temporarily. But I do like that it's through that descending channel. We're actually just going to clear our entire chart. Cracker knuckles. We're in on another good one right here. And let's see if we can get some further move to the upside. Let's mark this as a potential uptrend. Right there. Simple as that. We're going to stay true to this right there. And we're actually going to leave this wedge in case it wants to backtest the top of it. Where we come back in to these previous highs. No, we'll keep this out. We don't need that in there. That's what we're talking about right there. Thank goodness. This one's catching a bit to the downside. We want that to catch some resistance. Unity. Okay, I'm pretty confident that this candle right here, because we have 10 minutes left, you have a lot more selling pressure right there. I'm pretty confident this is going to be the start of maybe a bull. Here's your pull. You need 1, 2, 3 candles, and I'm looking for a retest of 775. We got almost a wick high print. We got an 820 and an 807. We will be reloading that if this pulls back into this previous high. That is what we're going to be looking for. I appreciate the claps, Drift. I appreciate it. Yesterday we didn't get the follow throughs that we were looking for. Today we come back and we do. So, like I said, not every time you can be perfect. You can't be perfect on every trade, especially when you're talking about short-term trading, because it's just a big voting machine. There's so much indecision that you got to worry about. But one thing that I do like is that we are looking for a new high right there. We were going to try and hold a piece of this into the close, more than likely. On another note, this uptrend has been legit. This uptrend right here is legit. I do not want to be holding this when this uptrend breaks. I'm going to say that right now. When this uptrend breaks, watch out, because this move right here, and looking at it from this perspective, you can kind of see where this uptrend could be an ascending channel. That is going to be the catalyst for a move up to that 10. You can kind of see it a little better right there. So, and for some reason I still have this in here. I was probably explaining that I didn't want to take the trade off this uptrend because all it would take is a break. You fill this gap, you catch a bid, you reject the previous lows, and now that you don't have this gap fill right here, boom. That's how fast it can happen. That's how fast it can happen. If more people are looking at this the same way that I could have been, now why'd we take it right here? Nice volume increase. You have 2 candles of decreasing volume. We take the entry and we get rewarded to the upside. I mean, those are the setups that I like to trade. It's the same setup over here. You have a little bit more red engulfing to the downside. I wasn't sure if it was going to pan out, but it's a setup that we like to take. And if I see the setup, I'm going to take it. BAO. So now that I'm looking at this, all I'm going to do is simply just adjust this just briefly. I want to make sure that this still isn't going to be a descending channel. But it could be early signs. If this 1025 can hold and we catch a bid, this 1115 I think is going to be your breakout. Can it get through it right now? Yeah, I just don't think this setup is a setup that just blasts higher. I think it's going to need to retest these lows again before we can get a further move to the upside. My opinion. Yeah, I'm pretty confident we're going to need about this candle. So we got 6.5 minutes left on this candle. We'll need another candle after that, and potentially one more after that. It's possible. But we can switch over to a 5-minute chart, and you can see, a lot of times I just don't even like looking at a 5-minute chart. If I'm being completely honest, I just don't like it. But you can see kind of the bull flag continuation right there inside of that 15-minute. We are going to hit a reload on this name at some point. Just not yet. We need more information. Soul Hound, we had a couple good outs. We got 5.5 minutes left on this candle. Nice volume increase as soon as it breaks that downtrend. Get the entry before. Instead of having the entry at the breakout up here, I'd much rather have the entry down here and get stopped out than take the entry up here, it wicks, and then we trade down here, and you don't want to hold it for the bigger picture that this could still hold as support. I'm not a fan of taking that breakout trade. I want the early entry. So even if I didn't get the entry right here, once it shows me that I can take this top, you know, you'd be taking it into a potential double top right there. But this would probably be the entry that I would want somewhere in here as it's testing this previous high right there. If I just mark this previous high right there, you can see that was actually a pretty decent entry. That, you know, the move itself from right here isn't as much, about 4%, where the move from down here 5%. So I mean, it's not that big of a difference. You have a little bit more confirmation, but then you also had that downtrend. So I don't even know if I would have took it from right here. We can go take a look at this. Kind of playing the course. I don't have enough information to see if this is going to be a descending channel. I don't know. Not my cup of tea on that setup. I'm sure some people are interested, just not my cup of tea. This is why it's important to wait for a candle close. There was time left. You could have got faked out. It's over the top of this 1130. Now it's going to set a close underneath this. This is why I just simply adjusted the downtrend. I want to be sure it was able to get through this, so there could be some weight here. I'd want to see this 1030, 1025 hold as support, and maybe we take the trade over here, like 1, 2, 3, 4 candles. So we're looking at potentially taking a trade on this an hour from now. And I just went away from it, but you see that wick right there? Had somebody taken the trade like right here in the middle of this move, that guy is very scared right now. He does not like the look of this wick. Two minutes left in this candle. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. You hold down the fort drift. Okay, we're back. And that's a candle close. Candles opening green. We are going to be ready for this around like a 780. And anything red engulfing into 770 off this previous high right here, we are going to be interested. BA, this is what I was talking about, Drift. This is what I was talking about. Had you just said, oh, we're breaking this downtrend, you would have bought the wick top. You would have bought the wick top right there, and you'd be sitting here selling the position near the support that you want to be interested in this. Now, just because we have an EMA coming through here doesn't mean that it can't blast through that, and we're talking about this name down at 925. I like to take the trade right here, and maybe even a little bit higher at like a 1090 when it can show me that this isn't going to be a descending channel. More information is key. You gotta find ways to use the information to your benefit. Every single candle. Look at that. Boom, straight down, man. Oh, gosh, man, I just feel bad. I feel bad that there's someone out there that took this trade at the wick top. God, it sucks. And he's probably just cut it right near support. He probably just cut this trade right near support. Now, if you wanted to take this trade, I would run a hard stop right underneath 10. So 10.20, you're risking about 20 cents. You know, maybe you can give that 25 cents, but this is not the setup that I would feel very. I would be on the tip of my toes, edge of my seat, sitting there watching this. I'd be like, man, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Like that setup right there, you know, there's money to be made. Look at the wick of buying right there. So the guy that bought in right here, he just got done selling it right here, and now he's sitting there getting ready to throw his headset across the room because he's like, oh my gosh. It's just, the more information you have, the better off you're going to be. I can't stress that enough. Is there money to be made here? Yeah, there is. There is. But would I be confident that we're going to get a move higher? Whereas when you look at GSIT, when I took the trade right here, I was already telling myself, hey, the potential on this is 1025. I'm risking, you know, down to. Are we on GSIT right here? Jeez, I'm losing my mind a little bit. You know, I'm giving it to the previous top, maybe a little lower. I'm telling myself, okay, we got about 28 cents of risk, and I can hold it comfortably down to this 7. I can hold it comfortably. And now I get this move, and I'm feeling really good sitting right here. I was able to go refill coffee. I was able to go to the bathroom. I was able to let the dogs out. And I didn't have to sit here on the edge of my seat looking at this trade. I can sit in it comfortably knowing that I have a thesis on what I want to see play out. Huge difference. Huge difference. This to me, even though it's catching a wick right here, looks like frowny face. Sell the frowny face, buy the smiley face. Whereas this, if this turns into a smiley face, it's going to be over here somewhere. Need more information. The more information you get, the better off you're going to be. 11 minutes left in this candle. We've already stated that we're probably going to need at least 2 candles of information to see how we're acting. We have a small wick of buying pressure. We're expecting this 775 to hold good support down to 760, maybe even 750, which is these wicks right here. You know, I'd be thinking about, you know, just take my profits and run maybe down at that spot. But at the end of the day, I do think it's possible that we see this name print up at 10. Soundhound. Nice increase in volume. How much selling came in at the top of this wick? I do see you have a nice base of support right here though. Around this 775, very close. Uh, we got the position that we want with this one. We're not going to think about reloading this one. We're going to think about reloading the GSIT a little bit more over top of that. Simply because I have, it's a whole candle ahead as well. Where this has one candle that we're trading in right now. And GSIT, we're in the middle of that second candle already. I should have made sure my headset was on. Oh yeah, the headset's on. That reminds me, what's CXAI doing? A big nothing burger. Where'd we stop out of this puppy? Yeah, that's a pretty good stop. Pretty good stop. That's normally pretty good confirmation that you had a very legitimate stop when the price is still lower than it. What was the other one we were trading? I can't remember what it was. Which one was it? I forget. Oh well. Unity. Yes, sir. That's what we want to see. Show me the rejection. Come on down. Come on down. DAL. These airline plays have been just ripping. Man, it sucks sitting back telling yourself, man, why did I cut some at 850? Why? Why did I cut some at 850? I've cut myself short 60 cents. I like to respect the levels. And if this wants to give me a further pop, I'm more than willing to cut it at 40. Already telling myself, hey, we're probably going to get a push up to these mid 40s potentially. You know, every trader's different. AAL, this one's been lagging a little bit. You can see we did get a gap fill right here. I could go trim some, but the way DAL showed me it could get through this gap fill right here. There's the gap fill, green engulfing to the upside. I think AAL is just lagging behind a little bit. I'm going to be more interested around that 16 level. AI, oh yeah, we're still holding the small piece of AI. I said if it can close above 36, we are going to hold it. We closed at 36.10. Uh, we have no interest in, even though this is looking like a frowny face right here, we stopped some shares out there. We had outs all the ways up. Could this be some sort of uptrend that could hold right here? Maybe. Just maybe. I don't know. We're just going to hold on to it. Crazier things have happened in the market, so we're going to let that ride. Get the entry. Hold for the dream. That's what we're preaching here on the channel. A little wick of buying. That's what I like to see. Just a wee little wick of buying. I'm going to bounce around a little bit. Nice little breakout there at a 54 break. This gets through and attempts to fill this gap, you're going to see a retest and extension. Man, it's going to kill me every single time I look over at this Carl Icon fund, knowing that I frickin' sold it. God, it sucks. Hurts my chest. We knew. We knew we had a solid uptrend holding. We knew it. We freaking knew it. Ah, man. Man. Hold a piece for the dream. That's what I preach, and I didn't stay true to it. Ah, boy, oh boy. What do you do? What do you do? This one's been a pretty legitimate uptrend. Pretty legitimate uptrend here. Not many uptrends you can draw since April. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Pretty legitimate. That's about as legit as it gets right there. Not only does it have an uptrend right here, you probably have some sort of ascending channel. You have a gap fill catalyst for a further leg up to the 650. It's about as legit as it gets. I don't know how to draw up a better freaking ascending channel than that. Disney. Just need more information. Does this roll back over, set a higher low, and then catch a bid? Who knows? Ford. Indecision candle. We're okay holding this. We actually want to see it pull back in for the healthiness of the chart. We don't want to just see rocket ship up to the upside. I mean, it's nice when something just goes straight up. But for the healthiness of the chart, I want to see a pull back to 13, maybe a wick into this gap, and then let's go for a push higher. Want to see a healthy chart. End phase. We knew it was giving up this uptrend yesterday. And let's see it pull back in to 175. Very beautiful channel on this one. Beautiful ascending channel right here. Anytime you're looking at a channel dating back to, 2020 and it looks this parallel, sometimes it's too good to be true. But we are going to respect it the next time we're down there. Workiva. Nice ascending channel. Nice bull flag. Consolidation candle coming in. Good support around 98 to 97. Healthy chart. Healthy chart setups. Ah, man. Oh, GSIT's down here. Let's try a reload right here. Some would say, why are you reloading that on a red engulfing candle? Because the candle's closed, we got decreasing volume. I'm expecting a wick of buying come in here. If it has to pull back down in the 760, we're all for it. We're going to respect it. We have some outs up over 8. Let's go ahead and hit a reload on it. Nothing of crazy size, just a start, just because of the red engulfing. But if this wants to pull back into like 760, we can think about it a little bit more. Let's see if it can start showing us a wick here. Nice in the middle of this green move right here. If I use a retracement from the move of my entry to the top, that half meeting in at a 770, doesn't look half bad. Alright, so we reloaded, and let's see if we can start the turn up and reclaim 8. We'd be all for it if it did. Let's go see where that fill came in at. We got a 776 fill, that's alright. Soulhound, kind of the same type of look right there. I want to see 775 hold. A minute left on this candle. Yes, sir. Just like that. That's clockwork. Clockwork. Now, some could say that, oh, you're just buying a simple indicator. No, 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 no. The bigger picture is you have a couple tops over here. You reject it. It's rejected it multiple times. Now when you push through it with a nice green engulfing candle, you're expecting that to hold as support. It might not hold as support all the ways through, but that's just like that. Just like that. Let's go on the tape. Now anytime I hit a reload, I want to respect it. So the previous wicks to the downside, we're looking at like a 790. So let's go on the ask at 790, and we'll go on the ask at 795. So let's just respect the levels to the upside. We're going to go 788. And that's where the tape is at currently. And we're going to go 790. Just start respecting levels to the upside. That's all we're going to do. So we're on the ask at 788 and 790. Let's see if we can get some fills. If we do, we can respect 775 again. No fills. $788 is on the ask right now. There's 2 lots. No fill yet. Let's see if we can get a fill at 788. On the mountains. We didn't get a fill at 88s there. It's alright. Only thing on the tape, we have a little bit at 780 for the bid, and we have the ask at 788, so a little spready. And we are sitting at 788. Let's see if we got our fill there. No fill. We're the only thing on the ask right now. So anything that gets taken out of the ask is going to be our fill. Lunchtime. Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. I'm gonna keep nursing this position a little bit. I'm gonna cut the stream, but I'm gonna stream later at 2 o'clock. If you want to tune in then, more power to you. I appreciate you for tuning in, Drift. You're the man. And we will see you on the next one. Peace.